Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Juliet Ohemen in Tiamwa. You can call me Dr. Onji. On this channel, I discuss topics related to education, career, and personal development. So if any of these are of interest to you, please do subscribe and click the notification bell. And when I upload videos, you'll be one of the first people to see it. All right, so today's topic, I would say it was one of the critical decision points in my life. So I'm originally from Ghana, as most of you will be aware by now. And I relocated here to the United States. I came in 2014 to pursue a PhD program. Before then, I was working in an oil and gas company back in Ghana, and I'll say I was in a really good shape, and we'll get into that. So one of the questions that I have been asked is, how was it leaving a lucrative job to pursue a PhD in the US? Has it been worth it and all of that? So today, that is the topic, or that's the question I'm going to answer. So deciding to leave a lucrative job in my home country and traveling all the way to the United States to do a PhD, has it been worth it? All right. So when I had the opportunity to come to the US to do my PhD, I'll say it was a bittersweet experience. It was a tough decision for me to make because on one hand, I was very happy because I've always wanted to do a PhD. PhD was part of my plans, right? And the US is, an exciting place to be. So it was exciting that I could get to come to the US and do my PhD, and also on a full funding opportunity. I mean, it was a great feeling. And then on another hand, too, I had come out of school not too long ago. I had gotten a great job. It was really lucrative. And when you've been very broke for a very long time and you get that opportunity that now you don't have to worry about what you eat, you don't have to worry about anything, like you are starting off really comfortable. Trust me, it's hard to let go. It's really hard to let go. So that was the situation I found myself. Doing my undergrad was tough. I am from a very humble background where, I struggled to pay my fees. And so, like I said, getting to that point where I now didn't have to worry about anything and leaving it behind and coming to the US to go back to school was not an easy decision. So anyway, just to put it in context, okay, when we say a lucrative job, what does it mean? To put it in context, let's say you are part of the top 10% high income earners. So let's say if we take 100 people and we want to group them into high income earners, middle income, low income, you likely be part of top 10 earners. All right. So at the time, I had just gotten out of college, and among my peers, and even I'll say some seniors, right? If we take 100 of us, I'll likely be part of top 5 earning people in that pack. Okay. And to add some numbers to it, so back in 2014, before leaving Ghana, my monthly salary was about 2,800 cedis. And using the dollar rate at the time, we could say it was about $933. Okay, now that was a lot of good money. And when I do some, let's say, projection into now, just to further put it in context, to now, assuming all things being equal, and this is a big assumption, right? But assuming all things being equal, if I project into now using my annual rate that I had for my first year, by now I could be earning $3,000 a month. Now that is about $36,000 a year. That is now about 10 times what the average public sector employee is earning based on a recent Ghana Statistical Service report. Okay, so by now I could be earning about 10 times what the average public employee could be earning. And this is just, base salary, not to even consider bonus or anything. So, like by now, I could be a big woman, So just to put it in context. So with all of that, you can imagine when during the PhD program, when things were tough, when results were not good, when I was stressed out, I remember I'll ask myself, why did I leave my job to come here to be suffering? I'm serious. And I know a few people that we had similar sentiments. PhD is tough, but when you left a very good job to come do PhD, it even stings harder. It's more painful when you're going through all the roller coaster periods of a PhD program. Now, being done with school and also having worked for a while now, when I look back at the time, what were the risks? The risks were that when you get your funding letter, especially if it's a graduate assistantship position, in the letter, your funding is for 1 year. And they'll let you know, it can be renewed based on your performance and all of that stuff. I remember when I got my funding letter and it said, funding for the 2014-2015 academic year. And I asked my friend, why is the funding letter saying 1 year when the program is 5 years? And my friend said, yeah, it will be renewed upon your performance. And I was like, geez, wow. So the risk was that if I came and I was not doing well, I could lose the funding. I could even be kicked out of the program. And these issues are real. Like, there are people who come here and lose their funding because they are not doing well in their programs, or sometimes even because of circumstances beyond their control or issues with their advisors. You can lose your funding. So that was a big risk that, could have happened. Okay. And the other risk too is, I could have finished my program and not have a job. And, probably, because I don't want to go back to Ghana, or if I didn't want to go back home, I would either settle for some menial jobs or, try to do things illegally here. Sometimes, or try to go back to Ghana and then try to start all over again, trying to find a job. I remember when I was back in Ghana, there were a lot of people who had completed their master's programs in UK and Canada, and they came back looking for jobs and there were no jobs for them. Okay, so that was also a risk, that I could have finished and not get a job, and I would have to go back home and struggle to get a job because my position was not guaranteed or even held for me. I didn't take a study leave or anything. So chances that I wouldn't get a job after school and having to go to either settle for a less paying job or even not have a job at all. Okay, so that was a risk, and a really, I would say, legit risk at that. The other risk too is that I could finish, and then maybe because I'm not getting a job, I could get trapped in the academic pathway without any strong interest. There are people who finish masters here and they really don't have interest in PhD, but because they've not gotten a job, they have to do a PhD, or they have to enroll in a PhD program, or sometimes they even have to enroll in another master's program. And so you see someone who has 2-3 masters, not because the person is really interested in acquiring those degrees, but it's because the person is not getting a job and the person doesn't want to fall out of status. And so they just go on acquiring degrees. And knowing myself, knowing that, okay, I'm not interested in this long haul academic pathway, I could have felt miserable. So that was also a genuine risk. I know people who have stayed in postdoc positions for like 4 or 5 years. Postdoc, and some, imagine 4 or 5 years postdoc after a 5-6 years PhD in the US, and after 2-3 masters. That to me is quite depressing, and I wouldn't have been happy. And that is something that could have happened. That was also a risk. But now let's look at the positives or the opportunities. Okay, we've looked at the risk. What were the possible opportunities, or what is it now for me when I look back? So in my case, I'll say it has been worth it, because of these opportunities or because of these factors. So one, the scholarship I had, after the 5-year PhD program was worth over $150,000. Now, I did my own math and calculations, and I can say I broke even in 2019. What I mean I broke even is that if I stayed in my previous job and I was earning an incremental amount of what I had calculated, by 2019, my $150,000 scholarship would have been equivalent to what, let's say, I would have earned if I had stayed in my position. So in my mind, it felt like, okay, I used how much I could have been earning to fund my PhD program, let's just say. So I broke even in 2019. So that's not bad. So anything else after that is great. Okay. And then I'm in a much better position now with great potential to even earn higher. I'm doing very well that I now don't have to think about how much I could have been earning. Okay, compared to how I was feeling when I was doing my PhD program and things went bad, and I was asking myself, oh God, why did I come here to do this? So that is not bad. And then most importantly, I can't overemphasize this, I am fulfilled with the decision I took. Okay, so especially the fact that I've had great experiences here. By God's grace, the PhD program was great. I've met great people. I've learned so much. Now my technical skills is something I couldn't have acquired in my previous role, and it's so relevant even back home. So to me, it's been double win for me in terms of the things I've learned and the knowledge I've gained, which is beyond money. I mean, like I said, I'm fulfilled, and that is the most important thing. And I need to say that the decision to pursue graduate school, especially a PhD program, should not be only considered on monetary basis, because PhD and money is not entirely correlated, or the correlation between them is not necessarily strong. It depends on the field, it depends on where you're working. If you're in academia, you'll be earning less. If you're in industry, you'll be earning more. Okay, so think about that. And the other thing too is, I don't think my case will hold true for everyone, but one thing I also need to add was that in the company that I was working for, 6 months after I left the company, there was massive layoffs that I remember I was in my room when I heard it. I was not happy with my research issues, whatever, but I was like, wow, I could have been laid off if I had not come. So that is also one thing that really helped me and also really made me know that I really took the right decision. Okay, and as I said, I'm fulfilled. Okay, now, as I said, my case will not hold true for everyone. There are people who are earning way higher. They are earning like $15,000 a month back in Ghana. Chances of getting something that pays more and also accords or has a lot of benefits and comforts as you would in Ghana is low. So people like that can make decisions based on, okay, maybe they want better quality of life, or they want to just change the environment, or maybe they just want to come and do a short-term graduate programs and then go back to their home country. Okay, so know your situation and be fully aware of the opportunity costs of whatever you decide to do. That is what is very important. So when I get questions from young graduates who ask me, oh, is it good to work before going to do a graduate program, or should you go directly into a graduate program? The answer is that if you're a young graduate without a job, then you have nothing to lose. If you are without a job, pursue both getting a job and also applying to schools for funding. Whichever works out for you first, you consider it and then you move on. if you get a scholarship or a full funding for a graduate program, let's say in the US, then it's no brainer, right, to say that you are staying to work, because the funding will almost all the time, if you're young graduates and you're just starting off with average salary, your funding is going to be worth way more than how much you could be earning if you stay back, right? But if you're a high earner, then I've already put out there the pros and cons that you need to consider, okay? And I want to leave you with this quote that, I really like. It's from Chris Matakas, and it says, "There is an opportunity cost for everything we do. This is why we must have the awareness to ensure that what we are pursuing is really what we value, because the pursuit leaves countless lost opportunities in its wake. We choose one experience at the sacrifice of all other experiences." So, bottom line, make sure that whatever decision you are making, it's really what you want to do. If you're coming to the US to do a graduate program, it's really what you want to do, not because everybody is going to the US, not because everyone is trying to get a scholarship to leave their home country to come to the US. So you are also going, is it really what you want to do? If you are doing a PhD, is it really what you want to do? Or is because, oh, you finished the master's and you think that what should come after a master's program is a PhD program? Is it really what you want to do? So just think about this. And I hope that what I've shared with you is going to help you make very good decisions concerning, your career and also your education. And if you have any questions, if you have any experiences, drop them in the comment section. I would love to see how you also made any similar decisions concerning your career or education. And until then, bye. I wish you the best and see you in the next video.